What's up guys, Master Gamer here, and if you like the video and the content on my channel, please hit that subscribe button, I greatly appreciate it. With that said, let's get on to the topic of the video. What's up guys, Master Gamer here. I'm guessing you can tell by the title of the video what we're going to talk about, so without further ado, let's just get into the topic at hand. I came to question if recently with some arguments I have seen online if Son Goku and his friends return is canon or not anymore thanks to Super being a thing now. Don't get me wrong, I love Super, I enjoy it, especially with as of the last 3 episodes lately. Anyways, people were arguing about time placement and the fact that since Tarble is not mentioned during the events of Super, like he was in Battle of Gods, he is no longer canon. But I thought of a counter-argument. That argument being, watch, a character who was shown during Goku's childhood in Dragon Ball is no longer seen in the latter of the manga during Goku's time as an adult. We are not counting the filler in the Z anime. Anyways, the reason she is not seen is because Toriyama on record said he forgot she existed. So, with that said, if he can forget about a character who had been part of the series for such a long time, what's to stop him from forgetting about a character that only appeared in one special? Just because he forgot about Launch does not mean she is no longer canon or does not exist. The same can be said of Tarble. So that said, we need to get into some essentially basic rules for what should be considered canon for Dragon Ball anyways. Number 1. The story must be written or outlined, in the case of Super, by Toriyama. Number 2. The events of said story must take place in a reasonable time frame that does not take place during the event of other things that would be going on at that time. Number 3. Nothing that takes place in it must contradict previously established things or new things that are now canon, such as in the case of Super vs. GT, in the series ranging from events, plot, elements, or characters, and such. I think these are fair basic rules to go by for what is canon. We know the story for Son Goku and his friends' return is at least outlined or written by Toriyama, so that's out of the way. On to the next main bit, which will cover our other 2 rules that we've stated above. Son Goku takes place 2 years after they beat Kid Buu in age 776. For those you don't know, again, just a quick brief reminder, age is essentially the year in Super. So for example, we say it's the current year is 2016, they would say the current year, again for example, is age 776. Just to be clear on that. Super starts at an undisclosed time, only saying a short time later in episode 1. Now, a short time later could mean more than 2 years. They don't necessarily have to explicitly mean literally short as in a couple days or a couple weeks or whatever. Let's just get that out of the way. Anyways, so, as I said, starts at an undisclosed time, only saying it started a short time later in episode 1. But the key point is, does Son Goku and his friends' return interfere with any time placement in Super, such as the Battle of Gods arc, Resurrection F arc, or the Champa arc? Before going any further, bear in mind, Son Goku and his friends' return did fit in with the canon before Super was added, as it only took place a full 2 years before the events of the Battle of Gods movie. So assuming it should take place in the same time frame, does anything in Super prevent it from happening? Well, it depends on if there was a time skip between the Slice of Life episodes, episode 1 and 2, by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, starting with what would be the beginning events of Battle of Gods in Super. Also, being as the time placement for the beginning of Super was left ambiguous, we could assume it took place still before Super started, meaning it would still fit in if that is indeed the case. So, I went and rewatched not only Son Goku and his friends return again, but I also watched all the episodes leading up to the start of Battle of Gods events in Super. It just to look for any possible time skips, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what side you're on. In this case, there were no time skips leading up to those events. So, what now? I looked into interviews Toriyama did about Super before episode 1 premiered to make sure Toriyama did not give a time placement for episode 1. Fortunately, or again unfortunately, depending on what side you're on, I found nothing about time placement for the first episode. This means that currently, till things change again, or until Toriyama comes out and says something about time placement for episode 1 for whatever reason, I can confidently say Yo Son Goku and His Friend's Return, and more importantly, Tarble is still canon. And say it still takes place before the events of episode 1 of Super. Meaning that before the events of Super, episode 1 began, at an undisclosed amount of time, we know at least 2 years after they beat Kid Buu, and it might be maybe close to 2 years, so it might be like a year and so many months before episode 1 of Super, or maybe a year and so many months and a few days before reaching a 2-year point. That is when it would have taken place. Anyways, so meaning it still fits in, and it takes place after beating Kid Buu, but still before the events of episode 1 of Super. So, I think it's fair to say Tarble is still canon. I know this video is short, but I felt it was worth talking about just to basically clear up some misinformation going around the community and confusion. If you disagree with me, that's fine, but I feel like I presented some very decent and reasonable evidence here. Feel free to go and check out the episodes I watched if you don't believe me, and also make sure to go and check out the exact time placement for Yo Son Goku and His Friend's Return, again, if you still don't believe me for some strange reason. Anyways, I think I'll end the video here now, because I have nothing else to contribute to the thoughts on this. So, I guess go and find my official Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch pages, which will all be linked down below in the description. Like, follow, and such on 3 of those things if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button here, of course, if you haven't already, if you like the content and such. And I believe that covers everything. So, yeah, peace, guys. Have a great day. Peace. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z/Kai, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super are all owned by Fuji TV, Toei Animation, Funimation, and Akira Toriyama. I do not claim to own any of these. The video and any images that appear were used under fair use.